Never heard of those.
Sometimes from champagne glasses.
Bottoms up, girls.
Over time, porn has become increasingly hardcore. For instance, the 1972 film Deep Throat was considered the height of pornographic excess.
Oh, yeah.
It showed a young woman apparently reveling in the act of giving oral sex. But today, watching gangbangs and triple penetrations have become de rigueur.
TP?
And it's all a few clicks away from any teenager with a smartphone.
Where? Right here? Yeah, baby.
19-year-old little suck puppet.
Oh, no. I'm actually blushing recording this.
Is a professor of sociology and women's studies at Wheelock College in Boston, Massachusetts. She's also the author of Pornland, How Porn Has Hijacked Our Sexuality.
If you're 11 or 12, you've got no repertoire of sexual behavior to draw upon. So when you go into YouPorn or Pornhub and you see this violent, dehumanizing, debasing pornography, you can't say, you know what, I've been with women and they don't like this. This isn't what I want to do. You've got nothing to draw upon. This becomes the only thing that you've ever seen that helps you define who you are sexually. That is great business practice, because the earlier you can shape the sexual template of a boy, the longer you've got him for life. The more you get into it, the more you internalize the messages of that hardcore pornography.
Oh boy. I remember me and my cousin, we knew where my dad's magazine stash was. It was in the dresser on the bottom. I can picture it right now. In the bottom drawer, and there was a nice stack there. And when we got our opportunities, me and my cousin, we would rush to that drawer to get a magazine, and we would hide and we'd look at them and we'd giggle and look and laugh and stuff. But my favorite memory, my favorite porn memory was we lived on the shores of Lake Erie, and we would get flooded all the time, and after we had an empty lot beside our house, and after a big flood, we would make a fort out of all the debris, all these stones and blocks and stuff that would wash up from the rock piles into this lot before they got cleaned up. And I mean, that's what we did, right? And in that lot, there was a plastic bag. And we went up there to look in this plastic bag. Well, this plastic was an A&P bag, and it was full of porn magazines. And we were just little guys, and it was like winning the lottery. They were wet from the flood, and it was like we won the lottery. We used those porn magazines as like wallpaper in our fort. Oh, hey, remember that, Matt?
When I saw a porn movie for the first time, it was like my.
Oh yeah, we all remember our first porn movie.
My head was so hot, like that. My first time.
Sounds like he's doing crack.
I didn't know anything about woman's body. I got it from one of my friends in my class. He was like 1 or 2 years older than me. I got it from him. It was exciting for me.
Oh, the older buddy with the connections.
Every teenage boy watches porn, and yeah, I've seen it. Probably grade 7. Now I think it's fine. Like, it's not bad. More guys kind of can not learn from it, but they just kind of gain more knowledge about the subject.
Oh boy, I hate these long pauses in this thing. Kind of creepy. Oh, so I gotta talk, eh?
Pornography makes sex easy. It is the psychological equivalent of convenience food. It provides easy, ready-made fantasy to be used in the mechanical relief of sexual tension. The relief is superficial. Real encounters carry with them the possibility of rejection, of humiliation, of being deceived, exploited, of being impotent. They are adventures. Pornography is your paper doll, the gal that other fellows cannot steal. Pornography won't betray you. It won't dump you.
That is iconic feminist Germaine Greer speaking earlier this year at the Royal Institution of Great Britain. She offered a critical stance in a debate about pornography. Germaine Greer says porn seems to offer emotional safety. Yet some initial studies indicate that chronic porn use can create anxiety and depression. And teenage boys are especially vulnerable to the stereotypical fantasies that porn offers. In her book, Pornland, Gail Dines writes that we are in the midst of a massive social experiment, and the effects will be played out on people who never agreed to participate. The porn world has changed immensely in the past decade. There used to be hundreds, if not thousands, of individually run sites. The industry has restructured and become globalized.
Global porn.
Impossible to regulate and increasingly controlled by a few powerful figures. The most infamous is Fabian Thielman, a Luxembourg-based multi-millionaire. Often called the king of porn, he is married and a father of two. His company Manwin controls much of the online porn teenagers are watching today. With offices in places as far-flung as Hamburg, Los Angeles, and Montreal, Fabian Thielman's collective
of course,
websites
Montreal,
draw 16 billion
Lots of
visits
hoes in
per month.
Montreal.
Porn companies like Manwin use state-of-the-art software to track porn searches that then drive users to ever more hardcore sites.
If you put porn into Google, what
I did tonight.
come up with is what the industry calls
I put generation porn and I was looking for educational stuff. It was boom. It was that easy. Porn videos popped up. Oh, two? Holy moly. Oh, no. Here, hey.
Guys, put her upside down.
Upside down? Flip her up.
This is where they gag the woman with the penis to such a degree that she's retching, choking. You know she's choking because her eyes are bulging. She's got a lot of mascara on and she's got the mascara dripping down her eyes. Number 2, very, very, very rough anal sex. The standard movie is 1 woman and 3 men. She's being orally,
there's gentle anal sex?
pounded away as they are pulling her hair, as they are spitting in her mouth, calling her bitch, whore, and slut. And the final scene is all of them ejaculating all over her face. She's found out exhausted, right? She can barely move, covered in semen, and you watch her.
Fucking hard day at work.
That's usually the end.
Oh. Honey, you don't know how hard I worked today. I had 3 guys come on my face.
What do they say when you
3.
college campuses?
They're not
Holy
sexual psychopaths.
tough.
They don't want to see women abused. They don't want to think they're
So tired.
who get off.
I'm not doing
sexual
anything
habits.
tonight. I'm going to
I have
bed.
to tell you what happens when I go in and lecture in college campuses. And I go in, and remember, I'm lecturing to the very men who are the prime users of porn. I have never really understood the word squirm till I've watched, from the podium, what these guys are doing. Because what I am doing is I am saying to them, I want you to look at the pornography that you are masturbating to without an erection. Because when they are roused,
Watching porno with your teacher?
They are too busy
that'd be a
trying
great
to get
idea.
off to really deconstruct in any thoughtful way what they're masturbating to.
Miss
And
Beatty,
what
can you
happens
turn
is
up the
many
volume,
of those young men in
please?
the room
I can't hear the gagging back here.
they're upset because suddenly
yeah,
they
I
see
can
the
got it. Thank
violence
you.
is. But the industry really understands men very well, and it draws them in when they're aroused, so they've never really seen and critically analysed the images that they're basically masturbating to.
Gail Dines says that young men are not the only people whose lives are being altered by our porn-drenched culture. Increasingly, young women are feeling its impact.
Yeah, I bet they
These
are.
are women who are at the front line of the porn culture. They are dating, hooking up, having sex with guys who use porn. They have no idea why these guys want to come on their face, pull their hair, come on their breasts. They don't get any of this. And then after I've spoken in college campuses, and it's like shock in the room with the young women. Suddenly,
Well,
it
I've been
all
on the
makes
other...
sense.
I
Because
mean,
they
I've
thought
had
this was
women
just
ask
happening to them,
for that
and they
kind of
couldn't
stuff,
figure
though,
out,
too, right?
Why do I keep ending up with guys that want to ejaculate on my face? What is it about me
How
that
come
these
every
guys
guy
keep
I
coming to
date
me?
wants to
And
come
then
on me?
suddenly they
I don't
realise
get
this is
it.
nothing about them.
Mom, how come every guy I date just wants to jizz on my face? Did Dad come on your face too?
Industry here that is producing and controlling the way men think about sexuality.
Oh, shit. It's alright.
I'm in grade 10 and I'm 15. So almost everyone watches, mostly on their computers. There is a lot of violent porn out there, and it puts a bad image on women, and it also makes them treat girls differently, at school especially. It makes them look at them differently, kind of like they're just a toy, not a human. They make it seem as if they can just
listen to this,
push them around, say comments, you know. Males always expect the females to pleasure them in some sort of way.
So kids are thinking that this is normal,
they're insecure, right? They're having a hard time.
And girls are at that age. They are very insecure.
It's kind of important, so
and it's easy to take advantage of them.
They kind of have to go with it.
They're naive.
I've spoken to people who say, look, men's sexuality is different from women's. Men are biologically more wired for porn.
Yeah, because they're always pulling
like it. You are just trying to, quote unquote, feminize.
Put the whole new meaning to pulling your wire.
What do you say to those people?
Do you really think that men are born with a homing device for gagonmycock.com?
I think so.
And I am going to argue, as a scholar, as a feminist,
I think
and
so.
Most importantly, as a mother of a son, that my son was not born with a homing device for pornography.
Oh, he's watching it right now while you're gone, you old bitch.
1 second that somehow men are driven biologically to want abusive porn.
Oh, he's pulling it right now.
Mom's
gone. Oh,
I
bitch.
refuse to accept
Time to fucking crank one off.
That men are born with a desire to see women sexually abused. What I do know is that we live in a society that is training them for that.
Blake Spence is a sex educator based in Calgary. He believed high school sex ed programs were outdated because they didn't deal with online porn. So he created the Wise Guys program at the Calgary Sexual Health Center for teenage boys between 14 and 16 years old. One of Blake's teaching tools in the classroom is the question box.
A lot of the questions that I do get, some of them are really cute and come from a really naive place. For example, I was teaching a grade 7 class.
I remember these days. I remember having a sex ed in that question box. And me and my buddies, we stacked that box. So what's the fucking funniest? Well, I forget. I couldn't even think about one right now. But we came up with some of the funniest questions that we could come up with, and we put them in that box. And we couldn't wait for that guy to come back and open and read those questions that we put in that box. And what I remember mostly is having my head down on my desk, laughing so hard I couldn't even catch my breath. And obviously, like this happens to this guy steady. I'm sure every class is the same. There's always those guys, and I was that guy that stacked that box with funny questions, and it was fucking hilarious. I remember that like it was yesterday, laughing so hard. And he came back, but we ran out of questions. we did stack the box again, but it wasn't as funny as the first time, that was for sure.
Questions were pretty grade 7, puberty related. And then all of a sudden there was just one question was like, what's double penetration? It was hard for me because there's all these little faces looking at me, just being like,
well,
yeah, what is that? And
that's what
I guess turned a little bit red, but I had to sort of compose myself. Like,
that's when
the most appropriate way to answer
one takes it in the cookie, and one takes it in the front, and one takes it in the back. Yeah.
like to do and some people don't like to do. You may have read about them or heard about them from other friends. Or even seen them, you know. What I think is important is that just because something